Was forcibly stripped and isolated for long periods in youth detention is asking why no charges have been laid by the Northern Territory Police. Colin Rogan has turned his life around since going into Darwin's Dondale Detention Centre 20 years ago. But now he's speaking out on behalf of his younger brother, who's spent the past 4 years in and out of detention. The first of several former detainees alleging abuse started giving evidence to the Royal Commission today, as Jane Barden reports.
Colin Rogan runs a successful steel fabrication business in Darwin.
Yeah, what they did wrong, they went through, they said 50 is 100 is a 50.
He knows firsthand the importance of giving young people opportunities.
We'd like to work closely with the NT government about options for troubled youth, but also the youth that are not in trouble yet, to change that cycle.
When he was 16, Colin Rogan spent time in the now notorious Dondale Youth Detention Centre for assault.
But for myself, obviously seen the light and had a little bit of personal inner discipline anyway, and progressed through the workforce, joined the military, and then opened my own business. I joined the Defence Force later in life, 25 years old. I done time in the reserves and full time. I worked with the military police during that time. Done a couple of tours to Iraq, where I worked as a close personal protection operator for the Australian ambassador.
But 4 years ago, he was horrified when his younger brother Kenny was also incarcerated at Dondale for setting fire to a motorbike.
The first time he actually got in trouble at 10 years old was by being coerced by an 18-year-old adult. And unfortunately, that was the start of things to come.
Things had changed at Dondale. Kenny later told his family his clothes were stripped with a knife and he was left in isolation for long periods.
Always locking us down, never bringing us out in time early enough, leaving us in our cells too long, all that type of stuff.
If you're putting a 10-year-old that's only just being introduced to the justice system into a cell block with potentially 16 or 17-year-olds that have been in and out of the system, around police, then slowly their mindset changes. The more times it happens, then it just becomes the norm. Same for that individual. If he's involved with being strip searched, for instance, or pushed around in the cells, that starts to become the norm for that child as well.
Colin Rogan believes Dondale has institutionalised his brother.
I've seen Kenny's development change over the years, especially from that young 10-year-old during that time frame and up until today. So yeah, there was definitely some withdrawnness there, and he basically was prepared to talk to you guys today.
But his brother expects Kenny will give evidence to the Royal Commission. Other former detainees began giving evidence today in a closed hearing.
This is sort of where that young fellow was. It still is somewhere in a place like this.
On Wednesday, the Royal Commissioners went to see where young offenders were locked up for days in isolation and tear-gassed. The cells brought Commissioner Margaret White to tears.
This was a room for a detainee?
Yes, all these rooms house our female detainees.
The Commissioners also met staff who will start giving evidence next week.
I can't see why authorities or legal powers need to wait for the Royal Commission's implementations to be brought out or recommendations. Clearly, just on that footage shown, NT Police, if not Australian Federal Police, should be looking into it right now and looking to speak to each one of those individuals that basically done an unlawful act.
Staff do a very hard job in there, and they do it to ensure the welfare of the children that they have in their care, and I think under sometimes trying circumstances. So we're hoping that the whole process and the whole system is improved. It was dysfunctional before. We're hoping for a lot better
Are they worried that the Royal Commission will basically target them instead of really looking at the whole regime?
It's been quite a trying time for them. They do the best job they can under the circumstances.
Colin believes Kenny's treatment has caused lasting damage.
My time in the military, I visited multiple detention centres in Afghanistan, in Iraq. There's proven reports, especially when you're dealing with juveniles, about the later effects, and as I said, I can see that right now with Kenny.
Since leaving Dondale, his lawyer and family have been trying to help heal the damage.
Kenneth's going well by sports. He just completed a sailing program, and then the education side of the fence as well. So Kenneth has actually picked up a automotive training certificate or training options with Charles Darwin University, which is run across the road here at Camilda College.
Coming from school to working in industry it's really fun, and like the people here are really cool.
Colin Rogan wants the government to do more to involve businesses and the community in working out how to keep young people out of detention.
And that's why I've spoken to government about different boot camp style programs that they need to be looking at in conjunction with the military, with Indigenous corrections and police. And that's the only way things are going to change. Or we could build another Holt's prison for the juveniles and just keep the cycle going, if that's what the government really want.